How's the squad since the weekend?
Well, no real fresh injury worries. Sorrow had a prang in his car this morning due to the adverse weather conditions. So we're just checking on him, making sure he's all right. He missed a large part of the session. Apart from that, Jamesy Forrest is back in training, but obviously tomorrow night's too soon for him. So that's a welcome boost back to the squad as well. Shane Duffy had a bit of a bug the last couple of days, but he trained today, so he should be available for selection.
Ryan Christie?
Yeah, Ryan's fit. Sorry, yeah, Ryan's back in the squad as well, yeah.
What's improved, Neil, since the last game against St Mirren?
Just to think the energy and the body language of the players. I think, the previous two performances have been very good. It's difficult to put my finger on the performance against St Mirren. Just didn't seem to have that zip about us at all, and we certainly lacked concentration at times as well. So obviously the game's come around again quickly, so we're looking for a far better performance what got at Celtic Park, and build on the two previously good performances of late.
Did you do anything or say anything after the St Mirren game that may have changed it around a bit?
Well, I think, with a few choice words, that was all. I told him, that I was bitterly disappointed. I haven't had to do that many times in my second spell, and, I've got a good reaction from him so far.
Callum was saying you looked at the stats against St Mirren and the team wasn't quite on it. Is that something you've seen this season in terms of the stats? Have they been up there to normal levels as such?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at individual performances and their outputs, I wouldn't say if the physical data is that much different, but certainly in terms of, our goal scoring, our regains, our counter presses, all those things are down on what we achieved last season. And like I say, individual outputs as well, the amount of goals that we were scoring, that's down as well.
Neil, you say you had some, there was always some harsh words after the last St Mirren game. Did you have to speak to, or had you had to speak to any players individually as well? If you look at, say, Shane Duffy, he's come in for quite a lot of criticism from the fans.
Well, yeah, I think I've gone on record as, saying that, I've actually been to a couple of players' homes just to check on them and make sure they're okay. Going through a difficult period. I think, the level of criticism is something I haven't experienced before either. So, if it's, bewildering, not bewildering, but if it's a shock to me, then, it must be so difficult for them to comprehend, not having been here before. So, yeah, I've spoken to a few of them individually, and they all seem in decent spirits at the minute.
For you, has that been about striking a balance as well? Because if you maybe see a player underperforming, you obviously want to say something, but you're trying to take into consideration everything else that's going on in their lives at the moment as well.
Yeah, I think it's a huge balancing act. Look, when I said choice words, that was the group as a collective, not the any particular individual. So, we reminded them of the responsibilities and that the performance was unacceptable. That is my job, bottom line. That was my job. And when they fall well below the standards that we set, then, you have to give them a jag now and again.
Sorry to interrupt you there, Neil. Have you heard anything about Albion's hearing yet?
It's actually, it'll be ongoing this afternoon. So, again, this will lead into our, thoughts on team selection. We don't know what the outcome of it's going to be yet, Rahman. So, we're just, going to have to wait and see this afternoon and then decide on the team then.
Are you preparing for him to be in, though?
Preparing both. Prepared both, so can't predict what the outcome's going to be. I think I've made, my thoughts, on it the other day pretty clear was what I think the outcome should be, but you just don't know.
What's your take on re-refereeing, as it were?
Well, certainly in this case, it's the first one I've ever come across for, this particular accusation or charge. I do feel, and I've seen it, there's definite contact. So you can't really call it simulation. Simulation is when there's no contact, and, we've seen plenty of that over the years, and we don't encourage that at all. But as a striker who's running very, very quickly, and the goalkeeper's coming across his line as well, there's contact, and you cannot, gauge the force that hits you at that speed. I'm not a physicist or a scientist, but I don't know how they can come to that conclusion that, Albion's conned the referee in that instant.
Neil, on the subject of referees, we've seen Mike Dean down south be subject to some horrific abuse. You've obviously been there and experienced that before. Would you have any advice for him or a message to these trolls?
I just think it's appalling. Absolutely appalling. This is, again, the days we live in. I'm fed up with the racist abuse that players are suffering from as well, or anybody in any walk of life. It is, it's just disgusting. And for Mike, I just hope he has his family around him and the Referees Association and all the support from managers and players in the game. He's an excellent referee, has been for a long, long time. He might have made a mistake, if you want to call it that, or the VAR changed the mind, or the people who looked at it afterwards changed the mind of Mike's decision. But the decision was made in good faith, and for him to be subjected to, this sort of insulting, threatening behaviour, it's just totally unacceptable. And I've seen it a lot. Associations talking about, these sort of social media platforms doing more. They're not doing enough to stop this. I think it's just, there's no accountability, and people can basically say what they want, and it's against the law. And they don't know the damage they're doing to these individuals who are just out there trying to entertain, make the game better, and obviously referee the game in the best way possible.
Looking at St Mirren, how impressed have you been with the job that Jim Goodwin is doing over there?
Well, they didn't get off to a great start, but they certainly found a good way of playing, and good consistency as well. So, yeah, I mean, they've recruited well, and I think they're in a very solid position there in the league.
And you came up against them recently. What kind of game are you expecting tomorrow night?
More of the same, I think. The counter-attack quite well. They defended really, really well at times against us, but we were definitely not at it, in the final third. So I think that's a real sort of motivation for us going into the game tomorrow night.
Thank you.
I didn't pick up correctly. What did you say happened with Sorrow?
He pranked his car this morning. So
Bad one?
No, he looks okay. We're just sort of checking him out, but hopefully he'll be in the squad for tomorrow.